Yeah, this has fun, flair, and functionality with Chrome Extensity. So it might be kind of weird because you guys might be looking back since we've covered up that screen. Or do you want me to move this while we're doing this one? Yeah, we're on both screens, but we might need to move this out. Hey, Chris, let's just move this out.
Actually, hang on, Debbie, and we'll take he'll move the screen.
Well, they just need to walk it up here.
Yeah, we'll just scoot this green screen down, and then that way you'll be able to see both.
You put so much work into it.
We're getting set up for the next one. Now, can you see both screens?
Oh, that's smart.
Can you see both screens over there now?
Yes.
All right, good. You know what? It's fine just to leave it there even, because I can see something right there. That would be even better. Yeah, for the next one. Okay. All right, so the link on the screen is the link to the handout, the digital handout for what we're going to use for this session. So snag a picture or pull it up, and if you are logged into your Google Drive, you can click on File, make a copy, and you can have a copy of this in your Google Drive. Okay, so it's created with the Google Doc. If not, you can snag a picture of it. And I see a lot of phones and a lot of iPads. So I'm just going to tell you right up front, Chrome extensions are not yet on iPads. So this would be Chrome on your browser, on your Surface, on your Dell Chromebook, on your PC, on your Mac. That will work. Extensions don't yet work on our phones or our tablets. Okay? But you can still stay and still learn lots of fun stuff you can use when you get back to your Chromebook or you get back to your laptop. Okay? All right. So everybody has this? Yep. All right. So that should take you to this document. And this document has everything that we're going to talk about. It also has my email and contact information again. But when you heard the word extensions, what did you think of?
When I heard extensions, I know that every once in a while Google wants to add extensions when I'm browsing.
Yes.
Other than that, I don't know.
Okay, so Google wants to add extensions sometimes when you're browsing, and I think Microsoft Edge is starting to have extensions now as well. Well, I'll tell you when I first heard of it, it's been a little while, but I wasn't even thinking Google. I was thinking, well, what does hair extensions have to do with being on the internet? Because that, I guess, was my term, was that when I heard extensions, that's what I had heard it referred to. But what an extension is, it's actually something that, like you said, we add to the Chrome browser, or is sometimes added for us to the Chrome browser, and it adds a little bit of fun, or a little bit of flair, or a little functionality to our Chrome browser. So as Chrome browser is, it's kind of boring, to be quite honest. It's just plain, it's simple. It might not do everything we want it to do. So when we add an extension to it, it gives it a new feature, a new function, a little bit of flair that we don't normally have. For example, here's just a goofy, fun one. It has no educational value whatsoever, but...
Hey, that's pretty good.
Hey, that's pretty good. So that's just an extension, and when I click on it, it does what it's supposed to do. It just pops up and says, hey, that's pretty good. So when I think something's going good in a presentation and y'all don't laugh or clap, then I'm going to play that to say, oh, it's okay. All right, so that's what extensions do. And if you look at the top of my browser, and let me get rid of my bookmarks bar because it'll make it a little easier to see for you. At the top of my browser, which is it's not easy to see, but there are all these teeny tiny little icons. And each icon is a different extension. And it's an extension that does something different that my browser couldn't do without it. So what I'm going to do is show you how to install those extensions and then just show you some of my favorite ones so that when you go back to your computer, you can install these as well. Okay? So as we scroll through this document, everything you're going to need is right there. So it tells you about how to install them. and you have to go to the Chrome Web Store. And if you're in the documents, you can go to the Chrome Web Store. You can still go to the Chrome Web Store on your iPad. It will just say you can't install any extensions yet. Okay. I have a feeling it's coming fairly soon. We'll be able to do that. But we go to the Chrome Web Store, just like we go to the iTunes Store on your iPad, or the Microsoft Store on your Surface, or Google Play on your Android tablet. And when you install an extension, it's just like installing an app on your phone. Okay. So the first one I'm going to look for is something called Tone, T-O-N-E. And so I'm just going to do a search on the left side of the store, and it's going to pull up whatever I'm looking for. Kind of like if I go into iTunes and I search for Google Translate. It's going to pull up all my apps. So in the Chrome store, we have extensions, we have applications, and we'll have themes. So application is like a full-blown program. It will do something different than just some little functionality. And a Chrome extension is just going to add an extra little piece. Okay? So you'll notice by looking at these, and let me zoom in so you can see maybe a little bit better. Over on the right, I have a green button next to Google Tone that's asking me to rate it. So I've already installed Google Tone. But if you look down to the others that are there, like the next one, mute ads and pause, whatever, that has a blue button that says Add to Chrome. So if I want to install that, I would click on the blue button. It will do its thing. It will say, are you sure you want to install this? And so you would say yes. And then sometimes you have to give it permission to access your account. And it's just like putting an app on your phone. You either say yes and use it, or no and don't use it. Okay? But I would say it might be wise to read those. Okay? So that's how we install. So now, once I install it, so I installed Google Tone, it has a little blue microphone that's at the top of my Chrome browser. And so when I click on that, it's going to play, let me get back to a page. So I would navigate to whatever page on the internet I want to share, and I actually think that your textbooks might have pushed this extension out. So you might have, I know we installed it when we had training. Okay. So when I click on it, it's going to play that obnoxious noise, and did you get a pop-up on yours? Not yet. Not yet. You should have, oh, it says it, mine said it couldn't hear itself for whatever reason, but I know I'm not muted. Yours is saying that too. So what should happen is you got it? So on her screen, because her computer was unmuted, it heard the sound mine made. It popped a little tiny window on her screen that said, Atchison is trying to share something with you. And all she had to do to get to this page was click on that square, and up would pop that page. So think about in your classroom, all your kids have their Chromebooks. You want them to go to a certain website, and it's taking them forever to type it in. They've misspelled it, blah, blah, blah. You go to the website, click on your little microphone, it will pop up on their screen. Okay? They will click on it, and then you're all on the same page. Now, I will tell you, there are going to be children, and the first time they know about Tone, they're going to click on it and click on it. You're going to have that noise going all over your classroom. Let them have their little fun, and then say, okay, now we're done. Now we only use it when we need it. Okay. And if you ignore that pop-up that comes up, so it looks kind of like this. If you ignore that pop-up, it will just go away. Okay? So you don't have to worry that it's going to stay on their computers. It will just go away. Okay, so if a kid happens to use Google Tone, you can tell everyone, don't click on it. All right, so to get to your extensions, I have put in here how you can get to where the extensions are, because there may be times when you've installed a lot of extensions, like you go home maybe and you install all these we talked about today, and then you're like, I don't need that. That doesn't make sense. I don't need that. That's pretty good or whatever. And so you want to take them off. So the 3 little dots, or you might have 3 little lines in your Chrome browser on the right. When you click there, you can go to More Tools and Extensions. And I showed that to you in this handout. So you don't have to worry about writing it down. When you go back, you'll be able to see it. And that will list all of the extensions, I clicked on the wrong thing, that are installed on your account. So you will be able to see them. Like I have one now, you can see on the screen, one-click timer. And over on the right, there's a check next to enabled. So that means that that's turned on. If I want to turn it off, I can just take that check off. And then there's the one-click timer will no longer be on my browser. It'll still be installed on my account. So if I want to turn it back on later, I can. But it won't be active. So sometimes you're going to find if you install a lot of extensions, there might be one that's a little bit buggy, just like anything else with technology, and it might cause a problem with something else. When you uninstall it, you're like, oh, that works again, then you know it was that extension. And you can always click on the trash can. If you know you're never going to use this extension again, you can just click on the trash can and it's gone. So then if you want it back, you have to go to the store and install it again. Okay? Does that make sense? Now, that's a long way to get to all your extensions. I like to do things short and simple. I like to say because I'm efficient and organized, but really it's because I'm lazy. So I use an extension called Extensity, and I've listed that in your handout too. And when I click on it, I can see all of the extensions that I have at one point in time installed. And I know you guys can't see that. Let me see if I blow it up a little bit. Yeah, let's see. You can see it there. Still, the extensions still are small. So anything grayed out is not turned on. Anything that is of the normal colors is turned on. So if I just click on it, it will turn it off. If I click on it again, it will turn it on. So to me, that's the easy way to manage my extensions. Because I sometimes do extensions for administrators, I sometimes do extensions for teachers, and they're different things. So I just turn off what I don't want. Okay? All right, any questions so far? Okay, comment? That works too.
With a lot of schools, not all extensions are readily available to kids. If you find an extension that you like, then you contact your library media specialist or AJ, and he will look at it, and if it's appropriate, whatever, he will push it out to everybody. So just be mindful, just because you use an extension doesn't necessarily mean you do it.
Thank you for that. And that's very wise, doing it that way. So when I was here before and we trained the administrators and the tech folks on your campuses, we talked about that. Most schools do not have extensions wide open for kids because there are things in there that allows them to hide their activity and things of that nature. So, Stacy, it just flew away from me. So, as Stacy said, when you find something, you as a teacher have access to all of the extensions, unless there's been some that they've blocked. Okay? When you find something you like, let your library media or AJ know, and then they can push them out. So what that means is, it's kind of like what you probably noticed. It will say your browser wants to install this extension. The kids won't even have to go to the Chrome Web Store. It will just show up for them, and then you'll be able to tell them, look at that icon at the top. We're going to use it for this reason. Okay? So keeping your kids safe is really priority for you. All right, so I'm going to share with you some extensions that I use and I really, really like. So the first one is Tab Cloud. For me, because I do a lot of different presentations and I want things set up, and you do a lot of planning for your classroom, you want everything ready when your kids walk in. Well, Tab Cloud gives me that capability. When I click on my Tab Cloud extension, it shows me, I wish we could closer. Would it be easier if we all moved to the screen? Or are you okay like that? It's okay for you not to be able to see very well because the extensions don't get good at it. But I also hate to make you move. We're good. Give us a flip. All right, good. That's right. Get some extra steps going. You can put on Go Noodle and do some exercising. All right, so what Tab Cloud allows me to do is it allows me to say what I want in my browser so I can what it looks like. If I want to click here, I can call this Lawton Extensions, and I can click on the Save button. Now that is saved, so the next time I open up my browser, I can click on that. So if I want to open up all those Keynote things again, I just click on the plus, and you see it opens a whole new browser with all of those tabs. So it's those 3 tabs I would say as the Lawton Keynote. So there's my drive. The next tab is the Keynote presentation. The next tab is that 360. Okay. So I like that one a lot. I also like one tab. So I'm the type of person that I end up having a ton of stuff open, and then, I'm always going to get back to it, right? Well, sometimes it just gets too junky and I can't find anything. I can click on one tab, which looks like a little funnel, and it drops everything down into one tab, and then it lists them all for me. So it lists, these are all the separate tabs I had open. So if I want to click on one, I can click on it. If I want to restore them all, it will open them all back up. But I like this feature right here, share as a web page. Okay, so I'm going to show you what that looks like. So let's say you have your kids, you want to take them to 5 or 6 different websites today during your class. You would pull all those up, click on one tab, and then click share as a web page, and it makes it a web page with a QR code up there at the top. So if I were to blow up this QR code where you guys could see it, you could scan that with your iPad, and it's going to open up this web page, and at the bottom, all of the links will be there for each of those tabs. So if you need your kids to go to 10 different places today, then you can share it as a web page, and they can do that. Or once you get the web page pulled up, then you can click on Google Tone. And if Tone is on their Chromebooks, then up would copy this web page with all of those links. So now I'm going to restore all of those back. So at the top of the page is Restore All. They all come back open. The only problem is they go right back to the top of the page. So if I go back to my extensions handout, when it reloads, so I'm going to have to wait for it to reload, it goes to the top of the page. So I'll have to scroll down to wherever I was. The same thing with videos. It will go back to the beginning of the video, not a certain point that you might have stopped it at. Okay. And now I have to wait for them all to reload. All right. The next extension, and I believe we might have pushed this one out to you guys, is one called Cami. John's going to bring you around a piece of paper about Cami. But I need to go. Let me show you real quickly how it works. So I don't know about you, but most schools, I get questions all the time about how do I write on a PDF. So sometimes you have curriculum that comes with your textbooks in PDF format. You want kids to be able to write on it. Well, unless you have the full-blown Adobe program, you can't really edit it. Well, this extension allows you to be able to write on top of the PDF. And I don't know if when we were in the training, Stacy, or not, if AJ pushed the Cami, he did push Cami extension out, so you guys already have the extension. There's 2 versions. There's a free version and a pro version. I always use the free version because I don't want to have to pay for the pro version. Okay? But if you wanted to try out the pro version, there's a code on that handout that he gave you. But that just basically is telling you what Cami does. So when I open up this PDF in my Google Drive, at the top of the screen, I'm going to tell it that I want it to open in Cami. And when it opens in Cami, it gives me a lot of tools over on the left. So I didn't pick that right of a PDF. There's not a whole lot to it here. But on the left, I can click to highlight. And so I can highlight certain things. So if I'm a teacher, I didn't own that Google Doc. So I had to make a copy of it. I just picked one in my drive. Apparently I picked one that I didn't own. But now I've made a copy. So now I can highlight text on the screen and it's highlighted. Okay, so think about annotating text. If you have kids annotate text, this is a great tool for them to be able to do that. I have a strikeout tool, underline, I can make comments. So when I click to make a comment, it's going to show up on the right next to wherever I clicked, and that's going to be highlighted so I know where that comment goes back to. Similar to comments in your Google Doc. Okay? Then the best part is that I can add text. And when you click on the tool itself, it's going to use whatever color was last used. Or you can change the color. So I'm just going to change it to red so you guys can see that. And I can add text. I can change the size. I can change the color. All of those things. And then I can even move it around on the screen. Okay. So if you had a PDF handout that had blanks for kids to fill in the answers, they can easily open that up, type in the text for their answers, and then save that and send it back to me. Now what's coming in the future, the folks at Tammy have told me, I think it will be by this summer, I don't know when, is the ability to work directly with Google Classroom. So you would put in your PDF as an assignment in Google Classroom, the kids would open it up, type on it using Tammy, and then from the Tammy tools, submit it back in, turn it back into the classroom. So that will be huge.
Because I have a PDF.
Absolutely. And this allows you to use what you already have instead of having to
right now that happens for everything else.
Well, this is kind of a pain, right? Especially coming from a PDF into a Google Doc doesn't do so nicely. All right. So now what they could do is they could still put their PDF in Google Classroom. The kids would open it up, but then they would have to use these tools over on the right to download or to save. So now I can save to my Google Drive. So after I've written all the text on here, I can go to the save button. I can save directly to my Google Drive. This is what they're going to do on their Chromebook. But then they have to go back to Google Classroom and upload their file from Drive to turn it over. Whereas in the future, coming under here will be the capability to submit to Google Classroom and choose which class they want to submit. So that will be huge. So, anybody think Tammy might be useful?
What were you saying about choose us not pushing back? It's the free version is already been pushed out to the district, so when you log on to your Chrome and into your Google Classroom, it's a little circle, okay, so when you log on, you see it. Well, it uses like it's my default now, so when I open the PDF, it automatically opens up. What's the biggest difference?
The free version and the pro version has the capability to digitally sign a document. And also in the pro version, when you All right, so that's Cammie. All right, the next app that is there is G Suite Training, and I believe we pushed that one out here when we were in training before. If you look in the top right-hand corner next to the share button, there's this question mark with the red, yellow, green, and blue. And when I click on that, it brings up videos that are about Google Docs. So it might take a second to load here. But if I don't know how to add a link in Google Docs, it's going to tell me. It's asking me which account I'm in. Okay. So I will be able to see the video on how to do whatever it is I need to do in Google Docs. So if you're trying to work with this and you don't remember something, instead of running to Stacy or the technical person on your campus or whatever, you can click on that little icon. You can search up at the top. So I think I said link. So I could search for link and see if it gives me anything on how to add links. It's just running kind of slow, but I'm sure there will be one. So what happens is you just press the play button.
Google Docs is the word processing editor that is part of G Suite. While it does many of the same things as other word processing applications, there are some characteristics of Docs that help to increase your productivity and create greater...
Alright, so it just gives you a video about it. Now, this one is just starting out in text. So what I happen to click on. Some of them you'll actually see video there, and then some of them will stop. If you're wanting to know how to insert a link, it will talk you to the point and it'll say, okay, click on insert. And it will stop. And it will wait for you to click on insert. And then it will say, go down to hyperlink. And it will wait for you to go down to where the hyperlink is. So it's kind of nice in that it's almost like your own little personal tutor there helping you walk through. Now, if I'm in Google Docs and I click on it, all the videos are going to be related to Google Docs. If I am in Google Slides and I click on it, all the videos are going to be related to Google Slides. Okay? If I'm in Google Classroom, all classroom related. So wherever you see that icon, just know that you can click on it and get tutorials to help you with whatever Google application you may use. Okay? And that one has already been pushed out for you. Yes. All right, Clipboard History is one that I learned about not too terribly long ago. I do a lot of copy, paste, because I'm always, like, I've copied these graphics from the web store to put into this handout, etc. Well, Clipboard History, once we've installed that, it saves all of my history for me. And so I can reuse things. So if you have an email, let's just say, back to parents, yes, the field trip, or yes, this paper is due tomorrow, or whatever it is that you're having to type all the time. Type it once, copy it, and it will save it in your Clipboard History. So now when I need to paste it again, I just go back into my history, I click on it, it recopies it, and then I click paste in my document. And it will save this for as long as you want, or you can tell it to do away with them after 30 days or a week or whatever. It's just nice if you have to copy paste the same thing. Or if I want to copy this part of the text and this part of the text and this part of the text, and then go into my new document and paste it. Like this. I thought it was a pretty cool one. All right, let's see. Google search by image. So if you go into just google.com, just like you would normally do a Google search, and then in the top right-hand corner, you click on images, then you can just do a Google image search. So I could type something in here. But even better than that, I can drag pictures in here. I was thinking I had a picture on my screen. I'm sorry, I usually have a picture. Okay, so let's see. Here's some pictures. So let's say I want a picture of these kids. Oops, that's not what I'm going to drag this picture and drop it onto the Google search bar. And it's going to search for, it didn't drag, that image. So it's going to upload the image. Then it will tell me a little bit about the image, okay? And it will tell me what's is online somewhere, then it will tell you where that image is. Okay? But as you scroll down to the bottom, it gives you visually similar images. So let's say I want a picture of a group of kids, and I'm sick of using that same picture over and over again. I can just search by image, and then I get lots of pictures of groups of kids that I would potentially use. I did a search one time just with my picture, and so it found all of the places online where that picture was, so Thompson's website or whatever, and then it gave me visually similar images, and there was some that looked like me, mostly women with glasses, and then right in the middle of all that was a black bald man. I don't know. No, it's kind of interesting. So it's kind of nice, one, if you want to see where that picture might be located online, or two, if you want to find a picture similar to what you already have. Goo now gives me the ability to search through my address bar just by pressing Control-M. So if I'm back up here in my browser and I click in the address bar, Control-M, I can talk to my computer and it will do a search about whatever it hears me say. And normally, when I'm not connected to my Wi-Fi, it will do a search based upon whatever it hears you say. So that's kind of nice for our kids that are too young still to type or misspell things, or maybe some of our special needs kids. Then we can install Goo now, and they can just talk to the computer and do a search that way. All right, so link shortener, have you guys used these before? So I'm seeing some no's and I'm seeing some yeses. So when I gave you the links for the keynote, I did tiny.cc/keynote. When I gave you the link for this one, it was something like goo.gl, and then you had to type in, 6 or 7 letters. Well, the way I get that is by installing this little extension called goo.gl link shortener, and it allows me to make a short link. So if I were to give you the address of this Google Doc, it's forever long, and none of us would probably ever type it in correctly. But just by clicking on my goo.gl extension, it will shorten that link for me, and so now I can say, all right, type in goo.gl and whatever comes after that. Okay, I can copy it from there and paste it into the handout. I could find details about it, so if I went to goo.gl, I could look at the links for my keynote and see how many times people have clicked on it, or how many times, or from what countries they've clicked on it. You can also get a QR code from this. So if you're in one of the rooms with the iPads, then you can just click on QR code. That code's going to come up. Your kids can just hold up their iPads and scan it and get to it. Now, those are the basic features of it. What I didn't know until a long time ago is that you can add features to that. So a lot of your extensions, if you right-click on them, you're going to get some options. So if I right-click on my extension at the top of the screen, I can go into options and change a lot of different things about it. So I can tell it, yes, automatically copy that URL so that I don't have to click on copy. I can turn on a keyboard shortcut for this. I can keep my history. I can do all of those things there. But you can also add services to it. So all of these things we see here, if you use Gmail or Google Bookmarks or any of these other things, you can add them to your shortened link. So Twitter, I've added. So if I go back to my document, I click on my shortened link, I can click on Twitter, and it will open up Twitter and send out a link, that shortened link, right directly out to Twitter. So if you guys are here, you can say, hey, we have this conference today, follow our schedule at, and you can send out that short link directly from that little URL. Make sense? Or send it directly to Gmail is what I intend to do more often. All right, any questions? All right, most of those I've shown you have some educational use. This next one doesn't really have any educational use, but it will save you money. You like to save money? I like to save money. All right, so if you install the extension Honey, when you go to a website, so I know recently I went to Vistaprint and I ordered some business cards. Okay, so let me do this. No. I'm going to get started. I'm going to put something in my shopping cart here. We're going to buy some brochures. Okay. So, yep, that's what I want. I don't even care what it looks like. I don't want to design. I just want to put it in my cart. All right, let me sign in and go to my account because I already have something created. It'll be easier. Give me just a second. I got to know my password. All right, so I'm signed in. I'm going to go to, where's my account? I'm going to go to my history, and I'm going to just reorder my business cards. Okay, so reorder. This works on Amazon. It works on just about any shopping cart, or any website that has a shopping cart. So notice I put it in my cart, and over up on the right of that white box, normally it has a little icon at the top that I don't see, but it's over here, and it says there are 10 coupon codes for Vistaprint. So I'm just going to click Apply Codes, and it's going to start testing out all of those codes for you. So I don't know about you, but when you shop, do you go online and like, I need a coupon code for Amazon or coupon code for this? Well, this goes and finds all those coupon codes for you, plugs them all in, and then if any of them work, then you obviously save some money. And so I save money using this on Vistaprint. I order different patches and things. I save on those websites, and they're separate. And then also on Amazon, I save quite a bit on Amazon. So this one says they save $6.82 just by installing the extension, and it pops up all on the phone. Now, the first time someone told me about this, it didn't seem to work. Like, I installed it and it never popped up. I'm like, what's wrong? This doesn't work. This is no good. And I uninstalled it, and I reinstalled it, and then it works good. So before you spend any money online, install it. And then let me know how much you save, because it's exciting to hear what other people say. All right, so that works on just about any website. Google Input Tools. Let me see where that is. So Google Input Tools allows you or your students to change the language of their keyboard, so what they're seeing. So like here, on laptops, you can add in extra keyboards. So I could add in a Russian or a Spanish or whatever keyboard I wanted to add in. Well, on Chromebooks, you can't do that because you can't install software. But in the extensions, you can put in Input Tools, and then I could change my keyboard to Russian or to Spanish. Or I don't know if they have any of the Indian languages in there or not. I thought to check that to see before I came, but I didn't. And then I would just click on whichever language I wanted, and then my keyboard would be in that language. So I could type in that language, or some of them have like a pencil beside them, and you can actually hand write or type phonetically in there. So that one's kind of a neat tool. There is a word translator. It drives me crazy. I end up turning it off more times than not. But some of your kids may need a word translator, whereas when you hover over a word, it will pop up the translation for that word. So if you have kids that their first language is not English, that might be very good for them. And then, let's see, I usually turn this one off because it does the same thing. It's very annoying, but I'm going to see. I saw it earlier pop up. Oh, it is on. Translate text. All right, so I'm going to select some text. I'm going to click on my reverso context, and it's going to allow me to translate. Oh, that got me my settings. So I can highlight the text, go into the translation, and it will translate. Now, I tend to use Google Translate to translate things, or Bing Translate. Sometimes it seems like a little more accurate. Not sure why we're going so slow here. But what I like about the reverso context is it will help your kids who are studying different languages. So, for example, maybe I'm off the Wi-Fi. Let me check. I'm going to jump on Wi-Fi. Let me jump over here, and now let's refresh this. Yeah. It has conjugation tools built in. So, So, for example, when John's doing his Spanish homework and he needs to know the different conjugations for all the different verbs, he can type in the verbs and then see all the different conjugations. So it has a lot of tools like that built in. It doesn't have a lot of languages, but it does have English, Spanish, I think French, maybe Portuguese. There's about 8 languages that it will do that in. Okay. So for your kids, the reverso conjugation or reverso translation might be a good tool for them. Okay. All right, let's see what else we have. We got just a couple of more minutes, so I'm going to show you, home is, when you click on a new tab, yours probably looks very different than this. I like to have home as my tab because it gives me my time. It also lets me add in different shortcuts. So what I use to keep track of my expenses is there, plus all of the apps that I use. And so I can customize this. My latest emails have popped up over here. Apparently I need to go to the Pacific Coast or on a Carnival cruise. So it's just kind of nice. That's the one I use. Other things on here to point out. Grammarly is really nice to install because it helps you not make grammar mistakes on all your social media sites. Yeah, that's one of my favorites, actually. I use it all the time. And then Share to Classroom. When all your kids are using Google Classroom, they all have their Chromebooks out. You can click on the extension for Share to Google Classroom, and whatever website you happen to be on, you can post it to Classroom, and it'll let you choose which class you want to post it to, and it will let you post it as an announcement or an assignment. Now, if your kids are logged into your Google Classroom at the time that you post, you can also click on Share to Classroom, and I think it's called Project. I think is what they call it. And it will project that out right at that moment to them in the classroom. All right. The next one I learned about, I'm going to tell you, I won't demonstrate, but I will tell you, Pushbullet. I don't know about you, but I have a million different devices. And there's always, it's on my phone when I need it to be on my computer. It's on my iPad when I want it on my phone. So I put Pushbullet as a Chrome extension. I put it as an app on my phone, as an app on my iPad, and then when I need to get something from one device to the next, I just open up Pushbullet and I send it through that app, and it opens up in that app. So, for example, here on my devices are listed over here. I wanted to send this link to one of my devices, so I did. I had a video on my iPad. I wanted to get to my computer without having to hook it all up. I just connected it there and Pushbullet, and it's just like writing an email and attaching it, and it sends it right to all your devices. So that was huge when someone taught me that one. I think there are a few others, but we stop at 10:25, right? Okay, I'm trying to think. Those are the biggest ones. The last one I'll tell you about, and then you can look at some of the others. It's called Google Keep. Google Keep was just like a to-do note kind of thing, or to-do list kind of thing on Carolyn. But now it's actually a part of the main Google Suite app. So it has a lot of incorporation into Google Docs now that it used to not have. So what I like about Keep is I can put it on my phone, I have it on my Chrome browser, and then I can set myself a note. And in that note, I can have location reminders. So when I go to the grocery store, my Google Keep list can pop up because it knows I'm at the grocery store. Or, example I used, I accidentally forgot to turn in some rental car keys back in December when I was at an airport far from home. So now I can put a note in Google Keep that says, don't forget to turn in the rental car keys and set the location reminder to the airport. And then when I get to the airport, it will pop up on my phone and say, don't forget to turn in the rental car keys. So I don't make that crazy mistake. So I like it because it syncs with everything. I used to have my to-do list on my phone, and then I had things I wanted to do on this piece of paper, and they were never recorded. This allows me to kind of put it all in one place and kind of. That was a lot of stuff in a short amount of time. Do you guys have questions? Yes. So, and in fact, I can pull out my Google Keep real quick so you can see it. So when I go onto my home tab, I have Keep down here. And you can see I have links. I have my to-do list here. I have a link to the radio if I want to play some music for you. I have pictures. I broke the light bulb for one of the green screens at my